Yeah, hello everyone. Today I'm going to be taking you on what we call machine automation engineering simplified. I just chose to give it this title because it is not strange to hear or see that a good number of people still have the impression that when your car is going in rotating in one direction as you're going forward, when you put on reverse, the engine starts rotating in the reverse direction. No, that's not how it works. Most of the equipment we have in the world is designed to produce a unidirectional power. What you want out of it is just the variance that you now have to add to it. Take, for instance, your quartz clock. Quartz clock has only one rotary motor that is constantly producing a rotation in one direction. Then the synchronizers you now add to it is what gives you what you're looking for. Hey, when you go 60 times, call this one once. And the other man, when you go 60 times, call this other one once. And that's exactly what goes on with the wall clock. Then they now write the readout on the nameplate, so you just see it, but that is exactly what is going on. Though in some cases, very few cases, okay, if it is a three-phase electric motor, the reversal of two lines there will change the direction of rotation. And if it is a DC motor, reversing the polarity will change it. But most 1001 of the equipment we have in the world is designed to produce a unidirectional power. Whatever you get out of it, okay, let's take aeroplane for instance. If an aeroplane, the gas turbine engine, all it does is to pull massive chunk of air into the engine, combust it, and jet it out to the rear, thereby producing forward thrust. Then the wings is now responsible for the up and down movement, while the tail is responsible for the navigational movement and drags. That's all you get from the aeroplane. Unlike helicopters, its own job, the propeller, all it does is push air down so that it keeps the thing going upwards. Some of you don't even know. If you want to try to prove me on that, if you fly a drone across a very fierce fire, and you fly a drone across it, the drone will fall inside the fire. Why? Because the density of the air is now so light that it cannot carry it. Prove me anytime. Sam said it. Okay? Then you now talk about ships, vessels, all those ones. The job is just that the impeller is busy pulling water from the front to the rear, thereby thrusting the equipment forward. Then any obstruction you put on it now decide whether to veer left or veer right. That's how all these things are designed. And but now, that is just an introduction to what I'm trying to tell you about. But for me to now do something fully on automatic, like all these your robot and so on and so forth, the main thing you need there is something that is constantly producing the power. You now use your additives to get what you want out of it. Let's take, for instance, hydraulic powered equipment. And the hydraulic powered equipment, all you have in the power equipment is the tank that is filled up of hydraulics. And then there is a pump whose duty it is to supply power steadily. For it to work effectively, it must only suck fluid from the tank, constantly pushing it into the unit. But there must be what we call pressure valve, main pressure valve. The main pressure valve, the job of the main pressure valve, pay attention, is that this is just constantly supplying the pressure here. And in here you will have two lines like this, So if I put it this way, and this pressure line comes here, and then there is another one here that the job is to empty whatever comes there back to the tank. So when you start the pump, either by use of electric motor or engine, whatever it is, this hydraulic pump starts pulling pressure from here steadily into the pressure valve. And when it is not in use, what the pressure valve does is it will simply start taking this thing back to the tank through here, because nothing holds the pump from supplying the pressure. If you don't create way back, it will pull from any weaker place and you see a pull out or burst. But it is designed in such a way that when you now will have something like this as the relay control, whether mechanically or electrically, when you now say, hey, look, I want to go into operation, these two lines will now come here. These two lines will come here. The pressure line will now come here. This one will come here. And then this one will now take this position. Now, what does it mean? When it now comes here, it means this pressure will be brought through here now and into another system. Before I now go into this other system, I want to tell you that for any hydraulic equipment to work, you must have, if it is the rotary motor, well, yeah, it has to supply to the motor to rotate the vanes for it to work. But anywhere you are supplying it to, you must create the outlet back to the tank, because then that brings us to what we call hydraulic ram. Hydraulic ram is just like you have your syringe. It's just like injection syringe. Yeah? And then you have your plunger here, blocked by O-rings. You have this, and then the shaft comes this way. Exactly, this is what it is. And when it is like this, just like your injection syringe, you know that syringe, if you block the inlet and try to pull it, it will refuse because it does not have any way in. And if you want to inject and you block the exit, no matter how you press here, it will never move because it has to have a way out. That is also what we have on hydraulic ram. You must have two ends, inlet and outlet, but they are reversible. You get what I mean? So now it is designed in such a way that it will now come through to a valve. This valve will be like this, and one end of it will be like this, while this other end of it will be like this. This other end of it will be like this. So when you now tap from here to here, and then from here to here. So when you want to operate this, remember the characteristics of a hydraulic ram. Here will always be filled up with hydraulic fluid. No air, no space. That's why it's hydraulic. It does not accommodate air. If there's air, the operation will fail. So here is filled up with hydraulic fluid. Yeah? So when you now want to operate this unit, if you close this, once this actuates, you see, it will now divert this thing that was going to the tank. This will now be here, diverting this pressure from here, now flowing through here into this unit. All right? And then this one is here, which takes you back to the tank. Okay? Exactly what it is. So this is the inlet bringing the pressure here. And constantly, this one will take the pressure back from here to the tank. Get the magic now. If you now want this place to move, when you push this in, all right? When you push this in, this pressure is like this, and this one is like that. When you now push, because you have pushed this and pressure is now here, if you now push this side in, you find out that what you will have is something like this. This man will now be here, and this one will be here. So while this one is now taking the pressure in here, this one is returning the pressure through here to the tank. Exactly what I'm telling you. Which means the fluid now starts filling here, and the equal number of fluid it is filling here is what it must be removing from here so that this ram starts going forward. When you now want it on the reverse direction, then it is this side that will now come in and not this one. And when this comes in, you are going to have something like this. Mind you, you will now have something like this and like that. Which means the pressure is now coming to this one, and the return is now going from this one. Get the magic now, which means you are now, your pressure is now taking here into here and taking from here back to the tank constantly. Then so the pressure now starts filling this side and emptying here, so pushing this in, because these plungers are meant in such a way that it cannot allow fluid to pass from here to here or from here to here. That's why the O-rings, just like your piston, it doesn't allow any escape. So it starts now filling here and emptying here. That's why the ram will start going back in. It is like that. In fact, some of them, if you had the double-sided ram, which means another one can project from here to here, where this is something like this is commonly found is if you had maybe a door that unless you close one side, you cannot open the other side. So for them to work in tandem, it means you have to connect it to something like this, which means when it is pushing there out, it is retracting this one. And when it is pushing here in, it is pushing this one out. That's how it works. Then, but if you are dealing with, say, something you want to automate, that is just the thing. You can now have, in fact, you can have up to 1,000 of these rams, as long as you design it in such a way that when the thing is not in operation, this man must return back to zero, so that the fluid start going back naturally into the tank. Anytime you want any of them to work, it must be connected one of these to this one to any one you want it, because until you divert this pressure, nothing goes into the system. And once you put the pressure into this system, you have to also create where it is going to start functioning. Otherwise, it will pull out. That's how it works. So if it is now something I'm doing on automated something, all I need to do is put either a limit switch here or proximity switch, or even that's what we call even microscopic sensor. Microscopic sensor, you find that one easily on things like this printer's cutting machine, where if anything impedes the sight from one side to the other, it will never help. Even your lift, once there is something obstructing the the glasses from seeing one another, it will never close. That is just how this works. But limit switch, say, all it does is say, hey, my friend, when you push to this end, actuate this man. When it actuates this man, then electrically, from the wiring, that's a topic of another day. Electrically, this man will now say, you stop. And then the other one is your turn to come in. And that is how, if it is something like robot, I can put 3 of them here now. Yeah? So when you are like this, and I say go, as soon as this man goes to make here, then here will come here. As soon as he makes here, then here will open up. And when it's time to go, as soon as here touches where you want it to go, then it will now tell this man, oh yeah, start going back. This one will pull and call this one and then go back. It continues like that. That is just what automation is all about. Which you can get electrically, you can get mechanically, depending on which one you are doing. There is no other magic in it, except when you have this basic system in mind, how you now want to get all other variants of it is a different issue. Trust me, this is what I call machine automation engineering simplified, and this is where it is completely simplified. Apply it anytime, anywhere, any day. Quote me. If you have any confusion, call me. I will put you through further on it. Thank you for listening. Yeah, we will be treating more topics as they come, but just bear in mind this is your hydraulic pump supplying into the main pressure. The main pressure, once it is obstructed or diverted, pushes the pressure into the system, and the system here, you decide whether you want it in or you want it out. These 2 ends of the valve spool does the job, and then when one is supplying, one is retracting. That's just all. Thank you and bye.